Welcome, everyone, to the Pint and Click podcast. My name is Caleb.
And my name is Greg.
And we're going to talk to you about your favorite video games. So grab a pint of your favorite drink, find a nice, comfy chair, strap on your proton pack, and we'll dive into this.
Caleb, I've been working on my testing out different inflections for my part of the intro, my introduction.
Yeah.
I think it's safe to say that wasn't it.
Hey, I thought it sounded okay.
Hey, I appreciate it.
Could you stand like 50 feet back from the mic and just scream? I think that's the next intro.
Okay. Can we just let's dry run it real quick?
Okay.
Hold on. Hold on. Don't mind the chair noises.
Okay.
I'm gonna get as far away as my headphone cable will allow.
Okay.
Caleb, give it a go.
Okay. Welcome everyone to the Pint and Click podcast. My name is Caleb.
My name is Greg.
That sounded great. That's the one right there. That's the ticket.
So
that's the money maker.
You're telling me every episode that I need to do that?
Start 50 feet back and slowly make your way towards the mic. But don't get there yet, when the episode starts. Still be a bit away.
I do like the idea that I get to the appropriate distance from the microphone right as the episode's ending.
Yeah.
Every week.
That's good.
Just slowly creeping my way forward.
Yeah. Now, to start this episode, I don't know who went first last time, but Greg, you've got a fun topic, I think, for the first one. I kind of want you to take it. Do you want to take it?
We're bucking the system, but let's do it.
Let's do it.
Before I get into my first topic of the day, quick minor note. Last week, when we were in person, lovingly looking at each other in the eyes, I laid claim to the prediction that Minecraft Legends was going to be a game that might surprise us and be really good.
Is it really good?
I'm here to admit that I was wrong about Minecraft Legends.
Woo! Okay.
I guess it's reviewing decently, but I tried to get through even the tutorial, and my eyes just glazed over. It was like, no, thank you.
Is it not fun to play, or is it just too kid friendly? What are your thoughts?
It just was boring for me.
That's
I couldn't keep interested long enough.
Is it an RTS now?
It's something of an RTS.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't great. So I just I want to come out, put it on the record though, that I am the most wrong boy.
Wow. Yep. I wasn't going to try it anyways. I just didn't think it was going to be a game for me.
No.
But now I definitely know I'm not missing out.
Yeah.
So that's good. That's good.
Before we jump into my first topic, give me 1 second here.
Okay, you get 1 second. Is he gone? I think he's gone. All right, hello everyone. Welcome to the Caleb Bracy Selling Carpet Hour. I have different carpets I'd like to sell to you. Would you like a Persian rug, perhaps? It's a nice carpet. Thank you for tuning into my carpet block. I will see you next week when I sell newspapers, perhaps.
Can I hear you?
Oh, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Oh my god, that's so annoying.
Oh.
Oh.
I'm sorry. Hearing me is so annoying, Greg.
Yes. All right, Caleb. Topic number one today.
Topic number one.
You and I would describe us as giving boys at our very core.
Yeah,
we love to just help where we see the need.
Yeah.
So I found a subreddit called Gaming Suggestions and decided that you and I were the right boys to find the right game for these desperate Redditors.
I love this idea. Okay. Let's do it.
Yes. So, to begin, the title of this first one was Insanely Fast Racing Game. In brackets, it says Best Sense of Speed. Now, Caleb, I think this one's easy.
Mario Kart.
But drunk. Yes.
Oh, okay. Wow.
If you get really drunk and play Mario Kart, you're going to play it on 200cc. I think that's all the sense of speed you need.
That's true. That's true. I think get super drunk and then play a super realistic driving game. Play Forza or something with the wheel. And just see how you do.
I didn't think about this coming into it, but we are doing some weird form of advocating for drunk driving right now.
Virtual drunk driving. Better to drive in a game than to drive in real life,
I guess, Yeah, I guess that's true.
So, hey, you know what? If you're gonna get drunk and you look at those keys and they smile at you, hop on a game instead.
Hop on Forza.
Hop on Forza. Grab that wheel.
Yes. Hop on Truck Driver Simulator.
Oh no, you can't damage your truck. You got to get it from point A to point B. You got to get it all the way across the Grand Sonora Desert, Greg.
So, I think we answered that one.
Yeah, that's answered. You got it. They got the best suggestions possible.
Next one, the title is, "This is gonna sound weird, ... but is there a game like Minecraft where the world interacts with me?"
The world interacts with me. As in, like, you just want to be like a fly on a wall and look at it like that, or you want... I guess I'm a little confused here.
That's why I included it.
Yeah.
So the post went on to say, like, it wants a game that feels like it adjusts to your actions, whereas Minecraft kind of feels like a dead world that you do stuff in.
Oh, yeah, that
They're
is true.
Looking for more of a game, like, I think one of the examples they provided was like The Sims or RimWorld, where the game
Sims was actually that was gonna be my suggestion. Yeah. The Sims is a pretty good example.
So,
Greg, what do you got for that?
Caleb, the game that's like Minecraft, but the world interacts with me is stuff. Have you played the I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but it is the game where you play as like a like a demolition guy in the real like pixelated kind of world.
Is it Teardown?
Yes, it is Teardown.
Yeah, I know of the game. I've never played it.
In many ways, that world
that's a good
interacts
example.
with you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, although, I don't know, I think that one is still kind of under the category of like you do things in kind of like an empty space. You know what I mean? I don't think there's any like characters or anything in it. Man, that is a tough one though. Something, because especially if the poster means something that like something where like your actions have consequences, that is kind of a hard thing to find in games, I think, lately. And like, I don't know, this is probably a poor suggestion, but like I think the Telltale games are really good for that reason. Like, you know, it may be a linear story that you play through, but everything you do has a consequence.
Yeah, I think those games interact with you.
Yeah.
There was some joke I wanted to make that I avoided because it's not 2011 about like Russian Minecraft because game interacts with you, but
oh yeah, of course.
So I won't fully flush that one out because, as I said, we're not in that. No, we're not. I'm not in high school anymore. Okay, this next one I'll provide no extra context for because I don't really have any. I just saw the headline and loved it.
Okay.
Games where you can collect things.
We need to suggest Minecraft to this man. You play some Minecraft, you collect everything you want. You get trees, collect them.
Collect them.
You see the sheep, you can build a big old pen. Yeah. Get all the sheep in there.
Now, how about, Caleb, games where you can collect things where the world interacts with you?
Not Minecraft. Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, I just love how vague that is. Games where you can collect things.
Yeah, that's a weird one. Yeah. I haven't played. Oh man, if only this person knew that Pokemon existed.
Yeah, well, exactly. Like Pokemon, like what? Breath of the Wild has like Korok seeds and.
Well, and that's what's confusing to me. Collect things as in like raw materials and stuff that you can do things with, or collect things that are like collectibles, like the Riddler trophies in the Arkham games.
Right. Yeah, no, I have no further context, Caleb. I just want you to tell me about a game where you collect things.
Yeah, that's funny. I'm going to say my suggestion is going to be Arkham Knight, but I'm mostly just suggesting that because I love Arkham Knight. Yep. But although, let's agree right here. All right, I'm going to say this. Let's put this on record. The Riddler trophies are the most annoying thing about the entire game. All right, you can't fight with me about this. Everybody knows it's true. There's just too many of them. You know what I mean? I'm looking to get that prime Batman skin in Arkham Knight where it's like black and gold. But you can't get that one unless you get all the trophies. And I tell you what, I've had enough of trophy collecting.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just throwing that out there. I'll definitely talk about Arkham Knight in one of these episodes eventually because it's one of my favorite games. But we'll get to that.
Now, Caleb, you talked about games where you might collect materials.
Yeah.
So I want you to tell me about games, or help this Redditor, rather, help this kind internet stranger to find a game where you upgrade / level up your hub / settlement to unlock better equipment to help you become stronger.
Let me tell you about a game I have a bit of experience in. I believe you do as well, Greg. Game that we used to dabble in every now and then.
Nebula
A
Realms.
little game called Nebula Realms.
Yes!
You
Oh my God.
got it. No, Greg, let me tell you about a little game called Loop Hero.
Oh, Caleb, such a good pick.
Building bases, you go through, you get some resources, you kill some little skeletons, I think, sometimes skeleton. There's a little vampire house. That's pretty spooky.
Spooky.
Spooky. You get some resources, you go back, you build a little tent for all your little villagers to live in, and they give you things. Sometimes you build a bakery. You get bread. I don't think you get bread from it, but you get something.
Just completely falsely advertising a game. No.
Yeah, Loop Hero. Is that not what you were going for when you were saying that?
It was not what I had in mind, but it's
Okay.
absolutely the correct answer.
Okay, because I was thinking about it, and I had some other things pop in my head, but then they all immediately left my mind, and only one game came to me.
I think that's a great choice. You know, I played Loop Hero probably last week in preparation to do it for the episode last week, but I just pocketed it, and I'll bring it out at another time because, man, that game is just so fun.
It's a good time. It's for me. It's definitely a time waster game. Like I don't think I could sit down and play it seriously at my house.
No.
But like if there's like a time when I'm not doing anything, I'm out somewhere, I've got my computer with me, waiting for a train,
Mm-hmm.
I'd run a couple loops.
Yeah, it's a nice loop here, loop here, loop there kind of game, you know?
Oh, yeah.
The game that I thought of for this one was State of Decay 2.
I played that recently, just a couple nights ago.
Yeah, I think I've talked about it on this podcast about how I've bounced off of that game a couple times, but it does seem like exactly what they're describing, you know?
Yeah, it is. That game didn't even come to mind, but no, it definitely is. Yeah, you go get resources, and yeah, it's fun. I think State of Decay 2 is a hard one though, because I feel like the game shines at its best at the very early stages of each playthrough. Like when you just start out and you're working on getting survivors and you don't have shit for supplies, and so you got to go scavenge and stuff like that. I think that's when the game is at its best. But when you get down the road and like supplies are, you're just stocked and like you've made it to the best possible base on that map, at that point the game stops becoming fun for me. But man, those early stages are real good.
Yeah, I always wish I could get into that game and really find my way to a deeper place. What? Anyway.
Yeah, the game has multiplayer. If it was less buggy, I think it would be good. But you and I should try it sometime. Because I think it's probably what PC runs Xbox stuff sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes.
So yeah, so we should try that.
Yeah. All right, Caleb. My next poor soul in need of help.
Yeah.
Is my notes just went away real quick. Here we go. What are some, and this is in quotations, destructive sorcerer power fantasy games? Seek help.
That's pretty
All
specific.
I'm gonna say, yeah, seek help on that one. Destructive sorcerer. I don't know. I don't think that's a thing. I think you're making things up. Anyway, moving on. Caleb, tell me about some small openish worlds.
Some small openish worlds. Oh man, you're putting me on the spot here. Well, okay, so some smaller scale open world games. Is that what we're going for? Is that what you're asking me about?
Caleb, I'm asking you about small openish worlds.
Small open fields. Where is the best place to frolic?
So, a game that comes to mind for me,
Yeah,
would probably be something like like Assassin's Creed Syndicate.
That's a pretty big open world.
Okay, but it's open-ish.
Yeah.
So that was where my brain went.
Okay. I kind of want to say, oh, you know what? I'll save it. I'll save it for my topic, my first topic. I'll save it.
Okay.
So I'll instead say, what about like Dying Light? That's a pretty small-ish map. That's pretty open.
Dying Light. I'm thinking maybe a Dishonored.
Ooh, yeah, that's a good example.
Because that is definitely open-ish, and it's not, the map isn't huge.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. I think we've definitely described some small, open-ish worlds.
Yeah, we've described some.
Final.
Now it's up to this man if he wants to be an evil wizard in them.
Yes, or a destructive sorcerer.
Yeah.
Now, Caleb, final one, we're going to wrap it up here. Are there any series where playing the previous game is actually recommended to knowing the plot?
I said this one already. I'm going to say it again. It's hard because I feel like with any game, no matter what, you can kind of pick up on what happened in previous games just by playing through that one. You know what I mean? Like same thing with like TV shows. I think like when I started watching One Piece a long time ago, I started in like the middle of One Piece, and then through watching new episodes as well as just kind of reading about some stuff on my phone, I learned everything about the older episodes, and I still went back and started watching the old stuff. But yeah, I don't know. That's a tough one because the game I want to say is like Arkham Knight. You kind of have to know what happens in the previous Arkham games, but at the same time, you don't. You don't have to know jack shit. You're Batman. That's it. So.
Yeah, I don't know if there's really, truly any game that you need to know.
You know what? I got a suggestion. Shenmue, because even playing all three of them, I'm still not entirely sure that the story makes sense to me. But
no one. It's almost like there was a science joke I was gonna try and make there, but I'm not smart enough to pull it off successfully. So we're just gonna move on. That Shenmue is both a game where you should know all of the story and you can't know all of the story. I think.
Oh, were you gonna go for a little like Schrodinger's box?
Yeah,
thing?
yeah.
Okay,
I was gonna go for kind of Schrodinger's cat kind of situation.
Yeah,
but
classic.
I wasn't quite confident enough on the trigger.
Well, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
You win some. Sometimes
the cat's dead. Sometimes
you
it's
fail to make
alive. Sometimes
yeah.
you can't know.
Yeah, sometimes it's good.
Sometimes it's good. Caleb, anyway, I think we've done a great service to these people. I think they now every single one of them has the perfect game for them.
Yeah, they've been helped.
I think this is a tax-deductible podcast now because we have helped the masses.
Yeah, and you know what that means? Since we helped you, send us your payments.
Repay us for the great work we've done.
My therapy's not free, all right? I've given you therapy for your games. You pay me now.
Game therapy. That's our second podcast.
Therapy. That is our podcast. It sounds good. I like it.
We'll do Pint and Click every week, and then every other week we'll do game therapy.
Yeah, pint and therapy.
Don't mix alcohol with therapy. This isn't a PSA from your friends at the Pint and Click podcast. Don't mix alcohol and therapy. Anyway, Caleb, I think I've just about wasted enough of your time. It's time for you to tell me a little bit about what you brought to the table this week.
Okay, so when you talked about the small open worlds, small open fields where a man can play, I
frolic.
Frolic. Yeah, I wanted to bring this game up, but I decided, hey, it's my topic, so I'm going to surprise you with it.
Okay.
But I didn't surprise you. I already told you about it, I think. But it's Dead Island 2.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to get into the Dead Island games. Ever since I first heard those magic words, hoodoo you voodoo, bitch. I've always wanted to get into the Dead Island games. That's a song in Dead Island 1.
Yeah.
In case you don't know. But anyways, I always wanted to get into it, but when I recently tried to, I say recently, it was a while ago, but when I tried to, the game had a lot of head bobbing in it. And here's the thing, I don't get sick when I play VR. I don't get sick, easily. I think it takes a little bit to make me feel sick, but head bobbing will make me feel sick instantly.
Wild.
So I don't know why, it just does. I tried to play Far Cry 3 and had the same problem. There was so much head bobbing that it was just making me sick.
That game's weird in general with like camera, and it tries to be so like immersive, quote unquote.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So yeah, I couldn't get into Dead Island 1 because of that. So I decided I would move from Dead Island 1 to Dead Island 2 when I found out that release the other day. So I picked it up, and I got to tell you, I like it.
All right.
I'm a fan. Now, and it's worth noting too, I was not aware of any of the press about it. I don't know if bad things were said about it. I heard briefly that I think there were some bad things going around from you about it, but I haven't heard anything specific about it. And I gotta say, without knowing that anything is wrong with the game, going into it seemed pretty fine to me. I had a great time. Yeah, sorry, I'm reading my little notes here about the game. Okay, so let's start here. All right. I'm pretty blown away by the graphics. Like it still looks a little not cartoony, but I guess just slightly unrealistic. But only the zombies and the characters. They just there's something about them where like I feel like the animation just isn't quite up to like super high standards.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, or I guess not even the animation, I think that specifically the models themselves. But other than that, the graphics of just the world and the areas, beautiful. And going back to the small open area, yeah, that's Dead Island 2 is pretty great at doing these. They're linear levels, but in a pretty big open area, and so you go through and do these missions, each one in like a new place. But yeah, while you're going through, there's tons of side areas, and you encounter side missions, and they're super fun. So anyways, yeah, graphics are great. Atmosphere is pretty solid. Here's the thing. I've played so many zombie games that, like, I don't completely feel like... I don't feel those heart-pounding moments anymore where, like, I go into a dark house and there's, like, noises around me and I'm trying to figure it out. I don't really feel that anymore. I've played enough zombie games where, like, okay, the tropes are kind of overdone, whatever. This game made me feel that again. One of the early missions, you go into this house and it's like, it's eerie how like empty it is, and the whole time you're like, oh, I know there's gonna be zombies here, and sure enough, there were zombies. But
I
no,
really
it was
the idea of you going into a zombie game and being like, I know there's gonna be zombies here, and there
no
just
zombies.
aren't.
Yeah,
There just aren't.
empty house. Yeah, but no, it was just super solid atmosphere. The lighting and the darkness was good, and that's another cool thing. It's one of the only games I've played lately where like I feel like they did darkness in it perfectly, and it could also just be my darkness settings on my TV or something. Games tend to be darker on my TV, but like you actually have to use the flashlight for some areas, and I love that. I love that when you go into a pitch black room, it's not game pitch black where you can still see all of your surroundings. You just know it's dark.
Right.
It was like actually pitch black, and I loved that. So yeah, atmosphere, 10 out of 10. It was pretty good. Combat does get a little repetitive. I hate bullet sponge enemies, or just sponge enemies in general, I guess. And this game is very spongy with the zombies you fight. But one of the things that makes the zombies feel a little less spongy is that they have that damage system. I'm spacing on what they called it now, but it's the damage system now where like location damage almost, where like if you smack a zombie in the jaw a bunch of times, its jaw's just going to be hanging from like its face. And it has really good limb dismemberment and stuff. So if you keep smacking a leg, eventually that leg's going to come off. And that helped. It sounds funny, but it seriously did help keep combat fresh for me in a way, because I would start taking on zombies differently instead of just running up and bapping him in the face a bunch of times.
Now, Kel, let me ask you a question about this system.
Yeah.
If you continue to hit them on the booty, do they start flirting with you?
Well, I don't think I'm allowed to say that. I think you gotta check that out for yourself.
Save that for the Pint and Click episode after dark.
Yeah, I was gonna say Pint and Click after hours. Yeah. But no, combat was pretty fun. Another thing that keeps it fresh is you have perk cards that you get. So it almost kind of turns the game into like a little bit like rogue like ish. You know what I mean? Not completely, but it gives you that ability of you get these new cards, and then there's reason for you to play with the other characters and start from the beginning, because now each character has their own set of cards and stuff, and those cards, they could be anything. I picked a character who had a card that was, it was throwing objects, gave me a boost to something, I think. I can't remember now, but it was just fun, knowing that like each character has their own, set of stats and stuff, and it definitely makes me want to go back and play as some of the other characters. And while the intro doesn't spend a lot of time with these characters, you kind of get to know them as you play them, and I thought that was really cool. I picked a character who is like a track runner, and she's missing a foot, and so she has a prosthetic foot, which I didn't even know she had one until I started playing as her, and I did this stomp on a zombie's head, and it was a little prosthetic foot instead of normal one, which was just cool. Small things like that, where like you don't even realize that about the character until you start playing with them. So definitely some incentive to go back and try some other ones. There are throwing weapons, which is really cool. There's a bait you can use to distract zombies, get them all in a certain area, so you could either sneak by, or if you want to fight them, you can get them all in an area, and then you can equip a different throwing weapon. There's some ninja stars that you can equip, and you can throw those. And then a couple other throwing weapons that just keeps the game interesting.
Sounds pretty cool. I will say that like you kind of briefly mentioned, I had heard just the rumblings of the fact that Dead Island 2 might not be all that it cracked up to be, but it sounds like it delivers as a fun little experience.
Yeah, what I've kind of heard from watching some, how I wanted to do this game was to just kind of go in blind, and then after going in, I've watched a couple reviews just to see what other people thought about it. No, what I've kind of gathered is that if you were a fan of the first Dead Island, you'll be a fan of this one. It's not necessarily changing the whole game, but honestly, is that what people really want with sequels? You know what I mean? It keeps the things that Dead Island is known for stable. And so I had a really good time with it. There is I'm sure that this has made its rounds to you. I'm sure you've heard about this. There's a streamer house in the game. Have you heard about that?
A streamer house? I've not heard about this.
So it's so the game takes place in LA, right? And so one of the things they did it's only like the second or third mission, you go through this map, and I think the house might even be completely optional, but there's a house you walk by, and if you go in, it's like a house for streamers. Like, it's a bunch of different like podcasts and streamer people all living in a house together, like a YouTube team house or something. And the whole thing is just making fun of streamers in a way, and it's so great. I really liked it. It doesn't do it in like a douchey or bad way or anything. It does it in a really fun, like, lighthearted poking fun at streamers and stuff. And it was definitely funny to see.
That's fun.
And so so that was like I said, I'm a side mission takes place there, but I almost feel like you could completely go around the house. I could be wrong. It might be a forced path, but yeah.
So one thing I heard, and I listened to a little bit of Kind of Funny talking about Dead Island 2 today. Or it might have been the Besties. Regardless, I did a lot of podcast listening today. They said that the like interior house designs in this game were really well thought out and well fleshed out and like really impressive.
Yeah, they definitely seemed it.
Hmm.
They did a good job. They did a good job with a lot of it. So yeah, one of the things in my notes here was how each environment that you go into, how each house and stuff has its own like set of things that you can interact with. And so like very early in the game, you go into this house, and if you go into this room, there's a display case with a sword in it. And obviously, you can use that sword as a weapon, but if you look up, there's an alarm system attached to that display case. So now you're kind of faced with, do I look for a way to disable the alarm? Do I smash the case and let the zombies pour in while I grab this sword? What do I do? How I did it, I looked around a little bit for a way to disable the alarm, but I didn't look very hard. I'm not sure if you can or not. You probably can. But I didn't look super hard because I realized that I didn't have like any weapons on me, and I wanted that sword real bad. So I just punched the glass and took it. But things like that are really fun to me. I love when games throw these things that you could either completely miss or you could interact with, and you can interact with it in different ways.
Yeah. That's good. I like stuff. I agree. Sorry, forming a thought as I run my mouth here. It's always cool when there's stuff in games that you can possibly miss, but it's also like, so it's not like everyone feels like they have the exact same experience.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
and
cool.
that goes back too to like how the characters are interesting enough that I want to go back and replay them and see how the cutscenes vary and
Yeah.
stuff. And that's only more incentive, is knowing that there's different ways you could probably do things and different paths you could take, different, everything. And of course, it's still a linear game in some way, so at the end of the day, you're still going to be going through the same areas for each mission, but it's just knowing how you can tackle those areas differently. Like elements play a pretty big role in this game, like using fire or electricity and stuff to zap zombies. One of the throwables you get makes zombies wet. And so by doing that, if you have a weapon that has like an electric mod on it or something, or even better, if there's some electric cables that are just kind of hanging from the ceiling or something, if you get those wet, if they're touching the ground, and you can pick up water buckets. This was one of the coolest features. I was showing Maddie this the other day. You can pick up water buckets, and you can make a trail with the water bucket, and it like saves your trail. So you can make this whole water trail going in a room. You can make a circle of water, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you can pour the water onto these cables that are live, and then you'll see the whole thing just spark. But it's really interesting because it gives you the ability to make traps now. So you can pick up a bucket of gas and you can dump it in a line in a hallway, and then you can light it on fire and you can attract zombies somehow. Maybe you turn on a radio or something. You can attract zombies and they'll walk through the fire to get to you, burning themselves.
That's the good stuff.
It's awesome. It's really fun. And the fact that like you can make those trails and connect it to wires and stuff, it's just insane. But overall, I'm having a really good time with Dead Island 2. I say if you're on the fence about the game, it looks good, but you're not sure if it's for you. I was also on the fence, wasn't sure if it was for me, but I gotta say, I'm having a good time with it. I would encourage you to take the plunge.
Now, is this $60 game, Caleb?
I believe it was either 60 or 70.
Ugh.
It might have been a $70 game.
Caleb, I'm getting too old to pay these $70 games.
No, I tell you what, I feel you there. And what I would say is, if you're patient enough, definitely wait for a sale. But I know that there's some people out there that are a lot like me, where if I want to play a game, I want to play it now, gosh darn it. Yeah. So, if you're like that, I think it's kind of worth it. It's a game that I'm getting some good hours of enjoyment out of, and I think it has multiplayer too. So if you have any friends that play Dead Island, you can hop on with them and give it a whirl.
You could have stopped after if you have any friends. I don't.
We love self-deprecating jokes here. Yeah. So Greg, I've talked too much now. So what's your second topic?
Caleb, last year, Marvel Snap released just a whirlwind of praise.
I have heard about that, yeah.
I played that game for approximately 2 weeks, maybe 3, before falling off just completely.
Yep.
But I need you to understand just how intense those 2 weeks of playing was. It was every single chance that I got. And it's probably been about 6 months since that time, and I want to see if I could return to that game and get back into it.
Could you return to it?
So to lay the groundwork, it needs to be said that I don't even care about Marvel, not even a little bit. Like, I want you, right now, as you're listening, to think about someone who doesn't care about Marvel. Picture them in your mind, think of what they look like, what they're wearing, how they would interact with the world.
And now make them care about Marvel even less.
I care about that Marvel even less than they do.
Yeah.
It's not even that I dislike Marvel. That would just be caring in like a different direction. That'd be like negative caring.
Yeah, absolutely.
I am apathetic to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Despite that, I still love this game and the little drawings of these characters on the cards. It was so easy to get back into this game. And I assume that some of that has to do with the way that they kind of ramp up the skill, the kind of skill ramp throughout the game, with the use of the ranking system every season. So you kind of feel powerful as you get back in and you build up to playing people who are more dedicated players. But they do it perfectly, so why would I complain? I can get right back in and get to winning matches, playing it casually every once in a while, and it just feels great.
Yeah, that's good. It's still something I don't know if I'll ever try getting into it or not. But regardless, it does still seem like a pretty decent game. And that's all that I really care about. I would be pretty upset if they were just pumping out Marvel, because I also I don't even have necessarily a dislike of Marvel or anything, but it's good to see that they're putting out good games and stuff, even if it's a mobile thing. It's good to see that they're putting out good stuff, especially after we had that Marvel Avengers game snafu.
Yeah. So, Caleb, I will say that there is a friendly battle mode where you can battle actual people you know.
Nice.
So I might have to twist your arm and get you to try this game just so I can, prove my dominance.
I might have to try it.
Yeah.
So how does this work? When you see a little superhero, do you throw a ball at them and capture them?
It's not Pokemon.
Do you imprison them?
It's a deck builder game. Think of really honestly think of Gwent.
Classic. I am a huge fan of Gwent.
Me as well. I was going to bring it up before this segment went to a close. But this seemed like the time to do it. It honestly plays similarly to Gwent in ways. It's not exactly the same. Instead of the 3 lanes being stacked hot dog style, they're stacked instead of being stacked hamburger style, they're stacked hot dog style.
Nice.
And each lane has a different attribute of its own, So for example, it says if you only have 1 card, you get plus 100 power. If you only have 1 card at that location. And that's you win that lane if you have plus 100 power.
Yeah, so to a certain degree, it kind of just sounds like Marvel's Midnight Suns without the turn-based movement combat. It kind of just sounds like the deck side of Marvel Suns.
I'm not entirely sure because I have no experience with that game.
You didn't play Midnight Suns?
I did not.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, it plays pretty much like any card game from that point on. The cards have their point values, their energy values, and their attributes of what they do.
Yep.
For example, I think it's Iron Man that he has he would cost 5 power points to use, and if he has a 0 so he doesn't, if you play him, he doesn't put any points on the board for you. But what he does is doubles everyone else's point value at that location.
Okay.
So that's one example of a card. And I also have to point out that I've been playing the deck that is completely unchanged from when I started 6 months ago, and I can still handle anyone and be competitive in playing this game up to at least the bronze level of the ranked system.
That's pretty cool.
So it's not like they're adding cards that are drastically changing the balance of the game. I think they've kept it really well balanced over the past 6 months.
Yep.
And the upgrade system isn't like you upgrade your cards to be more powerful. It's all visually upgrading your cards. So basically, you start with a card, and then you get the materials you need to upgrade it. And one of them's like a frame break, one of them's an animated logo, one of them's like 3D, and so these cards just visually upgrade and look cooler that way.
That's cool.
And that system's really fun in itself because they also have like a collection level that as you upgrade your cards, your collection level gets higher, and that's just a meaningless number that you can brag about to other people. Like my level's over 300, and it doesn't actually affect the way the game plays, but it's a fun, it's all part of one of the many systems to keep this game, keep you entertained with the game and keep you looping and playing more games.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I'm also not usually someone who likes, these 1v1 style card games against other actual people.
Yep.
So it's kind of interesting to be able to get into something like this. I don't like Hearthstone. I didn't even battle Pokemon cards as a kid, even though I was a big Pokemon kid. Yu-Gi-Oh! More like Yugi-No, am I right?
Nice. Yeah, no, it's funny you mentioned that, though. I remember buying Pokemon cards and stuff, but I was never into the battling.
No, it was just for the fun of having them.
Yeah, I just liked cramming those suckers into small balls,
Pardon me?
When you put them in their prisons.
Were you doing that with the cards?
Yeah, I'd go to the store, buy a couple Pokeballs at my nearest stop, and then just put the cards in them, shove them in, cram them, crumple them up.
Wow.
Yeah.
Caleb, you've probably, if you had taken better care of them, you might have some some value on your hands. But I think, unfortunately, you cost yourself a lot of money.
Yeah, I tried to sell my collection one time, and apparently they're worth nothing.
Apparently they're worth nothing as a crumpled ball.
I thought you were supposed to put them in the balls.
Yeah. Well, you live and you learn, right?
You live and you learn. Actually, Greg, let me share with you real quick.
Okay.
While we're on the topic of Pokemon, do you still remember what your first Pokemon card was?
Yes.
Do you really? What was it?
A seal.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, like the blue guy with the little horn?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I wasn't sure I was going to remember it, but for some reason it came back to me.
My earliest memory of Pokemon cards, here's the thing. I have a problem remembering if this was my first or not, but I remember one time when I was really, really young, I was going for a walk with my grandmother. This is also just one of my earliest memories, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But I was going for a walk with my grandmother, and I remember we were walking down the road, and in the road, I saw something, and I started looking at it while we're walking, and I completely stopped in my tracks, because what I saw was a Pokemon card in the road, and I remember I could have fucking gotten clapped, because little kid me decided to just run out in the road and grab it, and I still remember my grandmother chasing me and shouting, but I ran out in the road, and I grabbed it, and I came back, and it was a Mudkip Pokemon card.
Wow.
And here's the best part, though. It had been in the road and gotten run over and destroyed so much that there was a hole in the center of it.
Oh, wow.
But I'm sure to this day it's still probably somewhere with all of my childhood things.
Right.
I don't think I ever threw that away. I remember I kept it, and it wasn't destroyed enough that it was unusable.
Right.
But like I said, I didn't really battle Pokemon much anyway, so it was just kind of my little Mudkip to look at. But yep, it was a Mudkip with a hole in the center.
Caleb, you were you were like a real life Pokemon hunter.
I was. I saw it in the road. I scooped it up,
Yeah.
brought it home, saved him,
Put it in
bottle
a ball.
fed it for months. Those milk stains still won't come off the card.
Gross. I don't know why it is, but it's gross.
Okay.
Anyway, to wrap it up, put a little bow on it. If you're like me, kind of fell off Marvel Snap, give it another try. It's so easy to get back into. You don't have to commit too much time. You're just jumping in for a 5-minute game every once in a while, 2 or 3 if you've got the time to do it. And if you've never played this game, I would really suggest giving it a shot. It's so fun.
Give it a shot.
Give it a
folks.
shot. It's free.
Nice.
It cost you 0 of your hard-earned dollars.
That is a good reason to try it though.
Yeah.
Like, if you're not sure if you're gonna like it, if it's free, who cares?
Who cares?
I'll try games all day long.
Try 'em all day.
Yeah, and that's same with lately I've gotten into demos, which is something I've never ever gotten into in my life. I've always just kind of been like, demos are always going to be garbage, and they're never going to represent the full game. But little did I know, they do actually, and you should definitely play them. I played the Resident Evil 4 demo, and I just didn't like it. It was not my kind of game, I decided at the end of the demo, and it saved me money because I decided to not buy it.
Well, Caleb, you're disowned from the Siekman household.
Well, sometimes you are,
Many people are.
Many people have been, yeah.
Yeah, demos are great. They do exactly that. They can help you decide if you want to play the game or if you don't want to play the game.
Yeah.
But Caleb, tell me about a time you wanted to play the game with your second topic.
So, Greg, you know I'm a big Star Wars fan.
It's the first thing I knew about you.
I've always been a big Star Wars fan, huge fan. And so what I wanted to do for my second topic, I wanted to just chat a little bit about Star Wars Jedi Survivor. I wanted to share some predictions. I wanted to share some things that have been said about it, see what your thoughts are, see what my thoughts are. I just kind of wanted to talk about it because this game comes out at the time of recording this. It comes out in 4 days.
Yeah.
And I am very excited for it. I cannot wait to play this game. I loved Fallen Order, and all of the things that I didn't, didn't like because I love Fallen Order, but all of the things that I thought could be better, it sounds like they've made better in this game from what I've heard. And so, just want to talk about it a little bit. So to start off, what are some things you hope to see in it, Greg?
Oh, Caleb, I tell you what. This is my honest feelings. This game, to me, I know it comes out in 4 days.
Yeah.
It might as well come out in 2 months for me.
That's fair. Is it because of Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom?
Yes, of course. I'm not going to start. I really enjoyed Jedi Fallen Order. It was probably one of the games that like snuck up and was just a really, I knew nothing about it, and it when I got it, I was real happy with it, loved it.
Yeah.
So I don't want to do this game dirty. I know Tears of the Kingdom is coming right around the bend, and I want to give this game enough time to be able to properly enjoy it after Tears of the Kingdom has taken my full attention. So if you're asking me what I want to see from this game, really, the answer is just more Jedi Fallen Order.
That's fair. I think that's I think that's what most people want. I just want more of the same because it was really good.
And
but
everything I've seen from like given Mr. Kestis facial hair and the upgraded or the expanded upgrade system, customization systems look really fun. So I'm pretty hyped. I'm pretty excited that once Tears of the Kingdom has taken my attention, I can come back and pick up Fallen Order.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I want more of the same with this. But like I said, there are some small things that if they changed wouldn't hurt my feelings.
Caleb, would you say that you want to change all the small things?
Well, anyways, I think so. Here's where I'm at.
Go on.
I think if they made the maps, either the maps themselves less confusing, or just the holographic map a little easier to read and navigate, I think that would solve a lot of my problems. Because those maps in Fallen Order were just so twisty and turny, and there's so many different ways you can go. And the worst part was that there was no fast travel system. They do have fast travel now in this new one. That is a feature I heard was confirmed, or I saw was confirmed, and I'm very excited about that. But in Fallen Order, there was no fast travel, so when you get to an area, you got to run all the way back to your ship. Let's say you missed a chest or something in an area, you got to go through all of the things you went through the first time just to get to that chest. And enemies and stuff respawn too. So, more often than not, you got to do the same fights and same walking and jumping and everything to get back there, and that was just a mess for me. Wasn't a huge fan, but yeah, but it sounds like that's better now. So I am looking forward to that. Yeah. Let me look at my map. Okay, so one of the things they had in the original Fallen Order was an arena mode, which came out after the game launched. It was like an update that they tacked on, but it was pretty good. It wasn't a lot of incentive to go back and play more, but it was a little bit. I went back and it was fun to experiment with the different things in arena mode, because the combat is obviously the best part of the game. That is 90% of the game is the combat and stuff, and I loved it. I thought it was super fun. So I'm really hoping that they give us some kind of new arena mode with this game, which I haven't heard anything about that. I'm unsure if they have confirmed an arena mode, but it would be very cool to see, especially now that you have the use of blasters and stuff, which that alone is something I wanted to touch base on, because using blasters is awesome. Don't get me wrong, I love playing as a Jedi and stuff, but like every now and then, it would be so cool to just pull out a Han Solo blaster, a DL-44, if you will, and just do some cool blaster work, And that goes back to like customization and stuff. I'm really pumped that they're giving us customization. As you know, I'm somebody that loves customization. And so to see different facial hair options for Cal, as small and ridiculous as it is, like that, it's just great to me. To be able to make the character look how I want the character to look is great. And all of the added DLC packs and stuff that they're doing with pre-orders and stuff, as a longtime Star Wars fan, I love them. And that's the thing. I feel like it's super easy to tell that these DLC packs they're doing for, the real Star Wars fans. Like you get the jacket Luke wore at the Yavin celebration. And I love that jacket. I've always loved that outfit. That's the yellow jacket with the brown pants. I don't know if you're familiar with that one, Greg.
No, not off the top of my head.
Yeah, it's just a cool looking outfit. So to get that, and then to get like Han Solo's outfit, and to get the Obi-Wan equipment and stuff, that outfit, it's just so cool. And I'm glad that we're finally getting customization options, because I'll tell you, I'll be the first one to say, I know everybody else loved it, even Cameron Monaghan, but listen, I was not a fan of the ponchos. I thought they looked a little ridiculous.
Caleb, the ponchos. Think of the ponchos.
Think of the ponchos. I know. No, I'm sure there'll be ponchos in the game, but I'm not here for that. I'm here for the different outfits. Here for the Yavin jacket. I'm really looking forward to. And going back to blasters, yeah, they're the different. I don't know if it's skins for blasters or if it's going to be different blasters entirely. I'm assuming the lightsaber things are just like skins for it, but yeah, the lightsabers are cool. You can get with those packs, you can get Obi-Wan's lightsaber, and I think it's his lightsaber from Episode 1 too, which is pretty neat. And then yeah, you get a special blaster for with that too. And with the Han Solo pack, I think you get the DL-44, which is it's probably like a generic blaster to have as your favorite, but it is my favorite Star Wars blaster. I just love it. So yeah, I just want to touch base on the customization and stuff, because that sounds so fun. Now, Greg, here's a question for you. And I know that you don't have a ton of thoughts on this game, but I just want to gauge, how would you feel? I think it's pretty safe to say this game doesn't have this feature, but I just want to know, how would you feel if it did? What would you say about seeing ship combat in a Fallen Order game?
I don't think that would be for me.
Yeah, I go back and forth on it, because on one hand, I'm awful at ship combat games.
Same.
All Star Wars games where you fly around, I'm just terrible at it.
Mm-hmm.
But if they could nail it and make it feel really good, I do think it would be something cool to see. Like every Jedi or not even Jedi, every character in Star Wars, I feel like we see go up into space and do some kind of battle, and it's not necessarily something that I feel needs to happen eventually, but Yeah, just wanted to see what you thought about it, see if you would say yay or nay to it.
I think they did a really good job with Star Wars Squadrons. Like, I am really impressed with the level of detail in that game and in, like, the graphics and everything.
Yeah, that's a decent game.
And I just can't get into it because I'm so bad at it.
No, I absolutely get that. I honestly think Squadrons is kind of an underrated game.
Yeah.
Because I know, like, I know people that like ship combat that have completely overlooked this game. And I think it's pretty decent. I played a bit of it myself, but yeah, I don't know. It's ship games like that are tough. My biggest problem,
What's that?
I can never remember if my controls are inverted or not. And so, I might get used to a game 1 minute, and then the next minute I'll need to pull up, and instead I'm pulling,
Yeah.
down on the joystick, and I'm, it's rough. That's the other thing too, is I can't figure out, do I like inverted controls or non-inverted controls? I don't know.
Especially with those types. I mean, like with normal games, if you, I'm hope I'm not overstepping my bounds, but I assume you're not one of those weirdos, one of those freaks that likes inverted controls.
I mean, no, in normal games, definitely.
Yeah,
not
but
now.
in plane combat games, it's hard to tell because it just always feels like you're not doing what you want to be doing.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, I think Squadrons is probably the closest I've ever gotten to liking flight controls, but it's still so hard.
Yeah.
You know what I think might solve it for me, though? I think part of the issue is having two joysticks that do two separate things. I almost wonder, and I don't know if I would ever drop the money to do it, but I almost wonder if buying like a flight stick would fix that for me, like buying some of the flight controls and trying that.
I'm just picturing you having like your truck simulator set up in one spot, your flight simulator, like your train conductor's seat in another spot.
Yeah. A little chain hanging from my ceiling so I can blow the whistle. Yeah, no, it's funny, but like, I don't know. I think it would be fun. I can't stress how much I love using the wheel in racing games.
Yeah.
I don't even care about racing with it. Just driving with the wheel feels so fun. Like the Forza games, great. 'Cause you put in the wheel and then you drive. Forza has so many cars. You drive any car you've ever wanted to drive. And like, it feels semi-realistic, And it's just fun.
Now, Caleb, let me ask real
Yeah.
quick. Do you have any hopes for this story or any ideas of where you think they might be going with the story?
That's a good question. For a little bit there, I thought they were going to introduce a character from oh man, what was the first game? Jedi Outcast, I believe, was the first one in it. I thought they were going to introduce a character from Jedi Outcast, the main character of that, which I can't even remember his name. But one of the like people it showed Cal talking to looked a lot like him. Turns out that's not him.
Oh, okay.
But I am kind of hoping that we see at least some familiar faces. I don't want familiar faces as in like Luke Skywalker, but give me some lesser known characters that like, a casual Star Wars fan might not know, but like, us deep Star Wars fans are gonna see and immediately be like, "Hey, that's him! There he is!"
So what you're saying is you want someone I don't know.
Yeah, give me somebody that Greg would look at and say,
Rude.
"Who's that?"
That's very rude of you to say.
Yeah, I don't know. I was hoping for that. We'll have to see where the story goes. Any prediction I had, honestly, went right out the window with some of these other like story trailers and stuff that have come out.
Mm-hmm.
I expect to see I expect to see some like more early childhood memories, but I don't know if we will, because I don't know if you remember in the last game we had that whole flashback to Order 66, which was awesome. I loved that, and I loved that that's how you remembered forced powers was like doing these flashbacks.
Mm-hmm.
That was so cool. So I'm expecting to see at least one flashback. If we don't get any, that's fine too. But I'm expecting / hoping to see some flashbacks. To not even like not even the days of him in the academy or anything, but I'm talking about days of him maybe just surviving at a younger age or something, seeing how he got from the flashbacks to where he was at the start of Fallen Order.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be super cool. Because it's, I think it's ridiculous to think that a child all by himself made it to being, a welder in the Empire or something, whatever he was. So it would be cool to see like what characters he meets as a kid and stuff like that. And honestly, I almost would like to see other characters. Like I would really like to meet other Jedi. And it would be really cool to see maybe flashbacks of other Jedi and their experience of Order 66. Because the thing that this game has done now, or Fallen Order did, that I didn't realize, they could do, is they've given us more, like, I don't know, they've given us more views into Order 66 and, like, that time. And it's cool. I love seeing it from all the Jedi from all the different perspectives of different Jedi. It's super cool to see. So maybe give us something like that. That would be cool. Oh yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, I was really impressed and have a lot of fond memories of the Fallen Order story in general. So
Yeah.
like, I'm kind of just excited to sit back and just let them take me on whatever ride they want to take me on.
Yeah. Did you watch the Obi-Wan series?
I did. Yes.
Yeah. So you know them. Yeah. Something the Obi-Wan series did that was really cool is it brought back the Inquisitors, the Sith Inquisitors, which is cool. Yeah, as you remember, yeah, in Fallen Order you have that whole battle with, what was she, the second sister, I think?
One of them.
That was awesome. I love Sith Inquisitors. That was super cool to see. The Obi-Wan series brought them into a live action, which was cool. Yeah, I'm hoping that this game has more Inquisitor kind of stuff. But the main enemy that they were showing off did not look like an Inquisitor, so I am curious to see how that all fits together. The last thing I wanted to mention about the game, it does look like there's some kind of companion system, something to it. And maybe not full-fledged companions, but there's definitely a couple fight scenes with companions, if that's the case, or
Right.
with these side characters. They showed the fighting scene with I don't remember her name. Man, see, I haven't played Fallen Order in so long. But yeah, with the witch from that planet. Witch is not the right word, I
Sure.
don't think, but yeah.
Asking me for names of any characters is like just practice
No,
of
that's
futility.
Yeah, that's fair. I think her name was Marin, but I'm gonna look stupid if that's wrong. I think that's what her name was. But yeah, it showed a fight scene with her, and that was super cool. And I would honestly love if there were companions. That would be awesome. Whether they travel with you, or like while you run around the map, or I don't know, maybe they do it how they did it in Fallen Order, and they just kind of pop up in different spots in the map. That's fine too. But I would like to see some more interaction of those characters. But yeah, that's all I brought for Fallen Order, or Jedi Survivor rather.
Yeah.
But I'm glad we got to talk about it.
Yep. I think I have high hopes for that game, and I can't wait to get around to it.
Yeah, I have it pre-ordered.
Nice.
It starts downloading tomorrow, and then a couple more days, and I'll be jamming out with it. We'll see how it goes.
You will be Mr. Kestis.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's safe to say that
We can
we've
tuck
run
this
out of
one in.
topics here. So yeah, let's wrap this up.
Tuck it
Let's
in for bedtime.
get ready for bedtime.
For Betty
Hey,
Boo.
viewers, do you want to come tuck me in? One lucky viewer each podcast gets picked to come personally tuck me in.
Caleb,
Yeah.
I think we have to talk to HR about this.
Yeah. Well, hey, you know what? Thank you, everyone, for listening.
Thank you.
Send all of your Jedi Fallen survivors. That's not what it's called.
Fallen
Send all
survivors.
your Star Wars predictions, all of them,
All
not
of
just
them.
about the game. Send all of your Star Wars predictions and comments
Mhm.
and criticisms.
Yeah.
Send them all specifically to George Lucas.
Yes, George Lucas. He is back in charge, actually.
Yeah, he's well, no, he's not. And
No.
see, That's what makes it so great, though. Send it to him. He'll look at it and he'll be real mad, you know?
George Lucas is actually just running the mailroom at Disney.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I take it back. Send it to Disney, but make sure you address it to George Lucas.
Yes, of course.
Send it to Disney, their headquarters, but just make sure he gets it. All right. And with that, thank you all for listening.
Thank you.
Make sure you like, you follow, you subscribe, hit whatever button is going to keep you connected to our show.
Make sure you like, comment, survive.
Nice. Yeah. And if you've missed any episodes, you've skipped some, hey,
go back and watch them right now.
Go back and watch.
We need the numbers.
You're not gonna get dinner till you go watch them.
You're not.
You're gonna go right to your room.
You're a bad boy until you watch them.
You're a bad boy.
Okay. I've creeped myself out. Let's wrap this up.
Yeah.
Caleb,
Yeah. So
it's been a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure as well for me. Kind of.
Except for when we got weird about the bad boys.
Yeah. Make sure you follow us on Instagram for updates.
Yes.
And, we also have a YouTube channel where we put out some clips from our podcast. Who knows? You might see some clips that weren't included in an episode.
You might
see some behind the footage, behind the scenes,
Behind the microphones.
Behind the voices.
Caleb, it's been a pleasure. I can't wait to talk to you next week. And not a minute before.
Not too soon.
Thank you for listening, everybody.
Thank you.
And we'll talk to you next week.